Guys, welcome back to 12 Acres. Well, I told you a while back that we are going to get back into quail and I was going to incubate eggs. Well, I actually had a really hard time finding quail eggs. It seems like all the sellers that I found had waiting lists because everybody's looking for quail eggs right now. So I finally found some. It took a lot longer than I was hoping. But in the meantime, since I had the incubator up and running and working really well, I went ahead and started some of our chicken eggs because since our numbers are kind of dwindling from the predators that we've had lately, I went ahead and grabbed some fresh eggs, and so I've got about 18 chicken eggs in there that I started about 3 days before I put the quail eggs in. So I'm hoping if everything works out all right, we will have them all hatch around the same time. That's my plan anyway, so hopefully that'll work. Now, the incubator, when I started it, I reset everything to 0. However, the following day, it reverted back. So this number for the days here is actually off, but I've got everything recorded on my calendar to keep track of everything. So this is actually day 14 for the chicken eggs, and then the quail, it would be day 11. Now, as far as everything working correctly or being accurate on here, the temperature has been accurate for the most part. As you can see here, the humidity is off. This is showing that it is 59 when it is actually 49%. So in a few days they will go on lockdown, and I will show you what that process is about. So we are now in lockdown. I put them on lockdown yesterday. This is actually 2 days off for sure. So I put them on lockdown on day, well, let's see, this will be day 19. So I put them on lockdown day 18 for the chicken eggs and day 15, I believe, for the quail eggs. Now, after taking the turner out, what I do is, since I'm doing the quail eggs and chicken eggs all in one load, I bought these little trays from the Dollar Tree, which is, they sell everything for $1, and this was actually a 2-pack for $1, and it worked perfectly to kind of separate the quail eggs from the chicken eggs, because I don't want the chickens to trample the little quail after they hatch, because they'll be so much bigger. So I put all the quail eggs in these little trays, and then the chicken eggs are just on the bottom of the incubator. Now, lockdown generally is for letting the chicks inside the eggs get into position for hatching. So you don't want to disturb them. That's why it's called lockdown. You generally don't even want to open the incubator at all if you can help it. Now, you'll have to make sure that the humidity is up high enough, because they have to have that extra moisture during hatching so that they don't stick in the eggs. And then I ended up having to turn my temperature up, because for some reason after I took all of the turner out, the temperature no longer stayed where it needed to be, and it's actually, you can see here, it's supposed to be 37.5 in order to be right at 100, so it is a little bit low, even though this shows 101. So it's kind of going to be interesting to see how this hatch goes. I don't like having things not be accurate, because it's just too much guesswork as far as, what's right and what's wrong. So it'll be interesting to see how the hatch goes. Okay, so this is day 20 for the chicken eggs and day 17 for the quail. You can see, maybe you can see, there's a couple little babies in there that have hatched already. Looks like 3 in that one, and for sure 1 in this one. And then I don't know if you can see in here, let's see, there's a couple of chicken eggs that have pipped. So I'm hoping we will see some babies soon. so far we've got 15 baby quail that have hatched. I put the ones that were dry in my little brooder box because I was worried that if I left them in the incubator till tomorrow, it would be getting close to the 24-hour mark, and I didn't want them to be getting hungry and thirsty. It's my understanding that baby quail actually will need food and water at an earlier time than baby chicks do. Chicks can generally go for 48 hours or maybe even a little bit more before they have to have food and water. But little quail, because they are so much smaller, I guess, they have to have at least water by the 24-hour mark. So that's why I went ahead and took them out, the dry ones. There's still a couple of freshly hatched ones that are in the incubator, and I'll leave them in there until morning, and hopefully we'll have more baby chicks hatched by then too. There's quite a few that have pipped, but so far only one has made it out of the shell. So hopefully I didn't mess it up by opening the incubator to take these guys out, but I kept a close eye on the humidity, and it shot right back up where it needed to be right after I closed it, so I think we'll be okay. Well, I believe this is our final numbers. We've got 6 chicken chicks, and I believe 24 or 25 quail chicks. I don't see any more activity in the incubator, so I think this is going to be it for this hatch. As you can see, a couple of these chickens here, like that one, that's a fairly fresh little hatch there. And he was actually really stuck in the egg, and I know you really shouldn't help them, but I felt so bad for him, so I did assist him. You can see he's still a little bit kind of sticky, and his feathers are still crusty, but he's doing good. I really didn't think he'd even survive. But all in all, I think they're doing pretty well. They look very healthy and active. And so it wasn't too bad of a hatch. So all in all, I'm pretty pleased with the hatch. You know, it could always be better, but I know doing the quail and the chickens at the same time is not ideal, and I tend to forget that over time. But I'm going to try to make a mental note to not do that anymore, because it is more difficult. The quail tend to hatch like right on schedule, and the chickens seem to take a little bit longer. They always seem to be like a day or two late. So, and being that the quail cannot be left in the incubator for more than 24 hours and you have to take them out, you know, opening the incubator is just not a good idea. And so I did end up having a couple of sticky chicks from opening the incubator, even though I'm really, really fast opening it and closing it, and the humidity goes right back up really fast. It's still in those few seconds, that's enough to dry the membrane of a chick that has already started to hatch, and it's just not a good idea. So in the future, I will not be doing the quail and chicks together in one hatch. Now, once I'm sure that there's nothing else going on in the incubator, I am going to clean it out and sanitize it, and I'm going to get a load going of duck eggs. So it's the season, I guess. I don't know. But that's the plan. Anyway, thanks for watching, and be sure to check back later. And if you like this video, be sure to share and like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.